I'm Neil.
God. This is hilarious.
This is funny. I like this.
Take three.
Take three. How's your reading skills? You got this down?
I got this. It's my name, right?
Yeah, just.
Hi, I'm Alex, aka Rosenchild,
I'm Neil.
and we are Swimforward,
This podcast is about our journey of progression.
and we simply want to share it.
Through debating issues, present and past,
Learning new ways of living, thinking, and being,
with a view to improve our mind, body, and soul.
we are literally starting from zero, like zero. Where we end up, no one knows.
But we're moving forward.
And
this is our journey.
That's a pretty damn good take. I don't particularly need it.
No, I just thought for this one. For the next one, it might be okay. But
Yeah.
It's because it looks a little bit shit. Do you know what I mean?
Listen, these are bows. Right?
Yeah, they're both, but we're just both sitting here in different ones. You're stretching yours, and
These angles, these are called angles. They're good for video angles.
no, I'm not talking about the angle. I'm just talking about the actual physical stretch.
Just don't talk about my boast like that.
Well, I'm sorry.
Just don't talk about.
I'm just telling you, it just looks a bit shit.
These are like.
No one can tell they're bows anyway.
Of course they could tell. Look, come on.
Oh God, I bet you're trying to tell me that they haven't been like cheap ones made that look similar.
These are £200 bows, man.
Yeah, they might be £200 bows, but no one can actually tell that. Plus, since when does money matter?
Just saying.
Quality.
Do you know what I mean? Anyway.
Yeah. Cool.
So we're starting this podcast now.
Are we?
Yeah, let's start off.
Started.
I've got some.
Got your notes.
Out of shot. Here we go.
Yeah.
Welcome to our podcast. This is new. This is fresh. This is it's exciting, scary, and all at the same time. Wondering. Yeah. It's the challenge, right? It's the challenge of saying, okay, are you worthy? Is your story worthy? I reckon our story's worthy.
I think it's interesting. I think we're at that. It's what's going to come is what's worthy. I don't think we've got an interesting and colourful past, both of us, and I think that the journey that we are sort of committing ourselves to now is what's going to be the interesting thing, and it's going to have ups and downs, and it's what everyone goes through. And I think that that's sometimes the hard thing, that people think that everyone's different, but you actually figure out that everyone goes through the same problems and same thoughts, and there's ways of combating it, and there's going to be people out there who know how to combat these problems better than we do, and we learn at the same time, and we can then share that knowledge as much, or at least possibly make an impact.
I'm glad you're putting those bits in there, because I haven't thought about exactly how we're going to quantify the goals of what it is we're looking to do. I think the biggest thing that I can say is probably share experience and learn as we go, and hopefully in real time share the learnings as we move forward.
That's the only way I see it. I just think there's no other way of really doing it, because we have recently, and that's what we'll get to, we'll explain that we've got onto this path of self-motivation and sort of deciding to live a different type of life, and the problems that will incur in it. And I think that it's this miracle life, isn't it? It's this life of complete and utter freedom that we want to create, and we have no idea how to create it. And we're literally going to just go along with it and hope. And I think that we're just going to get to that point
from zero.
That's the whole point of this, and that people can join us on the journey and sort of learn from it, and just see that their problems are our problems, and it sort of all goes around.
I'm going to trust that this thing is okay, because I'm just closer to you, closer to the mic than you. So I'm clearer.
Yeah.
Might be an issue there.
My voice is booming, as they say.
Just step out of shot. I don't even know what's happening with the shot, Hello. There we go. All right, let's kick it off, because you need to kind of know about us. We've literally launched. I suppose the intro will have some sort of talk. We haven't even done the intro, by the way. If you listen to this podcast right now, you'll realise that we did this and then we did the intro.
Yeah.
So we just assumed that you guys knew a little bit about us and what we do.
Or what we're going to do.
What we're planning to do, because at the moment what we do is this.
Yeah.
You know, it's
this is us.
This is the dream. We've begun it. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. You've written stuff about yourself, so you can hit off.
You want me to start?
Yeah, because I've got like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7.
I don't
seven
really
words.
I don't really have much more.
And that's my cue. They're my cues.
Yeah, I'm going to have a little bit more than that.
Okay, tell us the story,
Right,
Neil.
just tell us the story. So just a little bit about myself. I am British.
Yes.
Both my parents are British.
They're
However,
cool parents.
They are cool parents. They're very, very supportive and very, very cool. But they both met in Germany. So therefore, hence, I was brought up in Germany.
And du sprechen ein bisschen
Ich
Deutsch.
spreche Deutsch, so I'm bilingual.
There we go.
And came to Britain. My parents decided to wanted me to be educated in Britain, so I came to Britain and went to boarding school and in Stourbridge in the Midlands.
Stourbridge, mate.
Stourbridge, and that's where I met Alex for the first time.
Totally, yeah.
And we became best friends.
That's it.
And been friends ever since, even though we've had a bit of different life recently. But up to that point, we pretty much lived together every single day. And we, in the end, went to university together to study law. I think we both have our different reasons for wanting to study it. My reason was I had no idea what else to study, basically. Just really no clue. And it also offered I could do a double course where I could study it with German, and obviously my German was pretty good, so it was sort of like an extra bonus. But then after that, yeah, Alex has got a timer on me.
I'm looking at your time, because we waffle so badly.
We waffle. So anyway, yeah, so to cover it, I finished university, disillusioned with it all, didn't particularly want to go into your sort of usual marketplace of business or go into law or study any further. I wanted to go and see the world. So I saved a little money, and with a little extra money for my parents, I went to Australia and broke out pretty quickly because I'm frivolous with money, as you will learn through all this. And I ended up broke as hell in Byron Bay, beautiful area in North New South Wales. And was so broke, pretty much was living on the beach, eating Weetabix with water, stealing alcohol just to have fun.
Okay.
And then managed to get a job cleaning toilets. Anyway, that's all different at the time. Anyway, when I was there, I became a chef, and I became a chef by complete and utter accident. I always had a joy in cooking, and my best friend who I was traveling with at the time, Will, one of our friends, said, why don't you go for this job? And I was like, well, I'm not a chef. And then I went for it. I lied in my CV. I got the job. And luckily there was this woman who owned the place who really put some time and effort into me, and I ended up running the whole kitchen for her. For years afterwards, and sort of finished after 2 years, went to back to Portugal. Oh, I say back to Portugal. I lived in Portugal for a while. Anyway.
There's a story behind that, so
yeah.
Your parents moved.
My parents moved to Portugal, yeah.
Whilst you were at school with me.
While I was at school, like final years, yeah.
Yeah. So they lived there. That became your base, right?
That became my base, and I thoroughly Lagos, big up Lagos, I love it. It's a
fun place.
It's my hometown now. So I decided to come back. My mum had cancer at the time, and she had it while I was in Australia. And there was that whole thing of should I go back or not go back. But my dad was my dad and my mum were more like, what's the point in you coming back here and giving up this sort of once in a lifetime chance just to be miserable with us? So I decided to come back a little bit early, and I saw my mum, and she was getting better and was on the way to recovery. So I moved to Portugal and ended up just basically running kitchens there and living the life of sort of down in the sun, moving in business towards that sort of end, looking more in the sort of hospitality scene in tourism. Anyway, 6 years later, again, disillusioned with it. I was working all hours for not too much pay. I mean, for down there, it's pretty good. But I ended up plateauing to the point where I couldn't see myself going any further. And I then, except for owning my own restaurant, which I really didn't want to do, and that will come up later why I never wanted to do it. So I decided to pack it all up and come back here to London, to search for a new venture. And so I ended up here pretty much incredibly unhealthy, overweight, not sure what to do, but just sort of in my mind, I wanted to make a change. I wanted to make a difference. So that's my point now. Did I keep that on time? I don't know. Yeah,
that was pretty good.
That's my story. Yeah, cool.
That's pretty good.
I rushed it in the end.
Yeah, I mean, we've just got time. I think I'm really sorry, guys. I mean, you're in it for the long run with this podcast thing.
If any of you are actually listening, we could just be us speaking to a camera.
And I'm pretty sure that it will be like that for a while. Until we bring some guests on and they're like, oh, there's a reason to watch it now. There's a reason.
Yeah, because otherwise it's just our friends watching the story they already know.
Hi, people that already know us. Yeah. I guess I'll shoot quickly with my story. I was born in London and moved to Italy pretty young. My mum is Nigerian, and she was doing modelling. She got to Miss West and Miss Nigeria, and she didn't win it, but she got pretty high up, and she started a modelling career in Italy, and she'd done some stuff in London. But I was born in London, and she started to move back to Italy. Went to various English schools in Italy, but my English was terrible. So yes, I'm bilingual-ish now, perché ho quasi dimenticato tutto, but there's Italian there, either way. And my mum just made a very, I think, positive decision to send me back to UK, where I went to a few schools. It was back and forth from Italy to England for like 2 years as I decided which school. I ended up in Swimforward, Starbridge, and that's courtesy of Monsieur Martin Wilson, who was going there, a close friend of ours. Big up the osteopathy king. So I ended up in Osh, and a year later, this burly German, we didn't know he was English or any British or anything like that. He just came in, he had these deep set eyes, and I was just like, never would I have known, because he was like proper like hip hop but grunge all at the same time, skateboarderish, and I was just like, I'm R&B. Everything was music back in the day. Like, you're associated by music. You know how it is as you're a teenager or whatever. It's like you got your little crews. And then as we became friends, I suppose it actually took me out because I was a bit of a jock at school, a lot of sports. And there was a thing with like just being in the cool crew. And as we met, it was like just one of those things. I think I don't know how you felt, but like being your friend made me go, oh, there's value in people that aren't the same as me. I like this. Let's go and make friends with everyone.
I guess with me, I've always been a bit like that. Always like sort of bounce between what types of people I've always been at.
But it changed me because I was just like, we are, as you say, we could be opposite of everything. But at the same time, just very similar in so many other ways. So obviously live with this one for basically school years, uni years. And he went off and did his journey. And that time, I came back to London. So we went to uni together, did law. I did law because I have an African mother. So, with Nigerian parents, there's certain things they have to do, which is get a respectable job, which is get a respectable degree, which is, wear everything, gown and everything, take picture, show off to the rest of the village. I'm not doing a discredit to Nigerians because at the end of the day, y'all know what I'm talking about.
Yeah, but I think that everyone who has Nigerian parents.
There's a paradigm there that we all adhere to. So, big up Nigerians anyway for actually having the sturdy, responsible parents that create model citizens like myself. Okay. So back on point. Left uni. Didn't want to do law because, quite frankly, at the time, I was young, stupid, and I found it boring. I did. Overall, just a little bit boring. But I think that's because I didn't take the right modules. If I'd done music and law, maybe I'd have gone somewhere with that or something like that. And I think that was just because I never really took it's a thing I have about people having to choose their courses or life paths so early.
We took the piss. It's just simple. We've been really constant.
I mean, we've coasted through a lot. Like, so, you know, you coast to a law degree. And it says that it's ridiculous. Listen, anyone can do a law degree if they work hard.
Yeah.
That's it. So, I mean, we didn't particularly work hard, which could be a plus point or a negative point, depending on how you look at it, to actually come out with a degree. But either way,
if you do
yeah, do you know, you get Ola's job. Ola the legend, Ajadi. So I'm not even sure I'm going to say it because he's a top secret agent now, isn't he?
Yeah, he's pretty much. He's basically.
It's a mate of ours who works for he's a diplomat now in Brussels. He's hopefully sorting out Brexit for us, so that would be nice.
Yeah, while he's thinking of leaving.
You can tell already how I digress massively with my stories and don't stick to the line. So we're still at uni right now, and before that, actually, I'm going to skip back. There's a lot of rugby, and I thought I was going to be a pressure rugby player, but I got injured, and in that injured time and in the time at uni, I realised that there was a life outside of rugby, and I spent a lot of time playing rugby at school. Oh my God. And so then I was like, no. But I wish I'd continued for a lot because it's actually quite good for you mentally.
It's very good.
Mental state.
I wish I continued.
But I moved to London, and disillusioned in London, I started work at a shoe store called Camper. And this is one of those things where you're just like, what do you mean? Because I applied for just a weekend job. I came in and I left with the manager's job for Oxford Street for a new store that was about to open. I don't know how that happened, but it happened. And it was an experience. And, you know, I was glad that I got a managerial position quite young, because then you understand people more and you deal with the mistakes that you're definitely going to make in a managerial position, like being too friendly. Even though I'm still a friendly manager in whatever capacity. Either way, went from that, ended up being in recruitment because a friend of ours who went to uni with us was just like, hey, you should make more money and you've got a law degree. Why don't you do this? Went into recruitment, didn't like it because the kind of recruitment I was in, IT and banking, it was horrible, cutthroat, people lost their jobs in front of me for no reason, for monetary reasons.
It was 2008, wasn't it?
Yeah.
It was around about the big crash.
And the big crash happened as well, and so there was less money circulating and people were even more cutthroat. And there's a particular story where, you know, one of the, contract managers ensured that someone lost a job so that his guy could get a job. And then I was like, no, that's it. I can't actually be in this industry. People's lives are being altered because of something else. And I think that in the end has always been in the core of me. This question of money as a tool, weapon, money, do you like it, do you hate it? There's so many theories on, you say you hate money so it doesn't flow towards you or thing like that. It's like, I don't like the way money's used in this modern context, modern construct. I don't like it. The forms of exchange have to happen. Money is the form of exchange that we have. Cool. But I suppose in this whole podcast, what we're... Yeah, time, I know. No.
You just digressed into sort of topics.
No. But I'm coming into I'm digressing into the reason why we're doing the podcast as well.
Yeah, sure.
And I'm going to come back and just close off my. I like it. Jesus Christ, mate! Give a man a chance to speak. All right, thanks. But thanks for keeping me on time. Actually, I'm actually only 7 minutes into mine, unlike someone who ran over. Don't worry about it. I just speak quickly. Hope you're hearing and understanding. So yeah. I suppose that's the whole point of doing this podcast, talking about different mindsets around money and stuff like that. And that would be nice to travel through that. Anyway, I went into recruitment. I didn't like it. This was the big phase now. This is the big shift, the one that matters. I had always sung. I liked singing. In fact, my first pay package from Camper, I spent the whole thing on an M-Box, which is actually what we're using to record today. So, it's whoever's looking to invest in some sort of audio recording equipment, get an M-Box. It lasts a long time. But I'd always recorded music. I'd always written. At school, it had become a thing when I did an inter-house music competition. Yes, we did an inter-house music competition, okay? We were quite posh, okay? It was there. What do you want me to do? What do you want me to say? So we did that. And it was the first light for me that said, hey, you actually like singing in some shape or form. So I quit my job, and that very first in recruitment, and I'll keep a funny story for when we talk about quitting jobs and changing paradigms. But I quit the job, and the first thing I did that very night was go to an open mic night, challenge myself to go into a space that was totally alien and new to me. And I think this is, I'm getting there. It's because it's the end. I think this is, because I'm going to sign off on this, I think this kind of little story kind of says something about when you step forward and maybe the universe speaks to you. Because I quit my job, I went into this, I was in North London at the time, Walls and Green, and I looked for a open mic that was close. It was Cricklewood. I got there, I hadn't researched it at all. I was just like, Google, tell me where. Turned up with my guitar that I'd bought for £60 the week before, on Denmark Street, great guitar place. And I walked in, and it was just not my musical scene. Like, I'm not gonna say that it was Deliverance.
I don't know this story.
I'm not gonna say that. Do you know Deliverance? Like, it wasn't that. It was, but it was country. Oh, it was country. It was country. It was blanc. Okay, I'm gonna say it was white. It was very white.
So you're a black man turning up with his guitar to a country.
To a country. So, and that was interesting. I sat down. Obviously, I walked in, and to me, for my perception, we're going to talk about perceptions. I was like, everything stopped and everyone looked. That was me, but maybe not the case, because it's a musical place, and as the story goes on, I show you actually it did change. But I sat down very uncomfortably, signed up, and the guy was like, "Hey, yeah, we'll put you on in the second half." I was like, "The second half? I've got to wait for the and then wait." So I sat down, contemplating leaving, obviously just going. And I turned to my right, and I was just surprised to see my friend Queenie. Big up Queenie, she's amazing. Just like big, just so good, gospel singer. It's just big in the game. And I turned around, I saw her, and she was also like, I could see we were just kindred spirits looking at each other, going, "What the hell are we doing her?" We looked at each other and it was like, "Oh, thank God there's more melanin in the room." And then we started speaking, and you know the story goes like this. She was from LA. She had quit her job and flown to London to sing. So immediately, every single little worry that I had was smashed to the ground. I was like, I quit my job and took 2 bus stops to the spot.
You didn't give up much.
You
really didn't give up.
She was like, I've got well, the thing is, she only had 3 months, and she ended up staying like 9 months. No, she ended up staying like a year, because then to extend her visa, she went to Paris for like 3 days and then flew back. I was like, yo, you need to do this. And funny enough, it's like through Queenie, she'd been so active that all my open mic connections and the people who eventually became my band, I met through her. Someone from LA. Like, it's crazy. So,
Fate,
long story short. So there we go. I've gigged a lot.
Wait, hold on.
What?
How did that go? You can't just
sorry.
there. We're all there just waiting. Like, how did this go?
Okay.
I mean, I've got this whole scene of the Blues Brothers playing at this country bar and having like bottles thrown at them and stuff.
So it was awesome, because she started singing, and she's like she's powerful voice and amazing, and she blew that, like everyone was just clapping and stuff, and then I started singing, and admittedly so, there was claps and stuff like that. So in the end, the host came on with his guitar, and me and her just riffed this random made up songs and blues and everything, and like just
so sort of jamming and making
just
up songs
jamming and making
your thing.
Or like, honestly, I found some really old video of me like making up songs on the spot and stuff, and it's because I was just like, this is a natural thing that you just do. You don't realise that, because I listened to the stuff that I was making, I was like, woo. Yeah, I mean, you tried, brother. You tried.
Yeah, it's embarrassing.
Like the voice carries something. I'll just slide into a melody or something like that. But like lyrical content on the fly, I was like, wow. And I went to the park and it was dark. I was like, okay.
Yeah,
and I went to the park and it was dark. It's like, well, if you went to the park and it was dark once, that's cool. That's cool. I mean, come on, you're making up a song on the spot. But if you're doing it multiple times.
There are some grime artists that just repeat the same.
Hey. Like who, what, where, no, but who, where.
Hey, what is that song?
Let's not go into it.
What is that song?
Why don't you just finish what you're going to say?
Okay, so it's good. Anyway, I'm still thinking of that song. What is the song?
I don't know.
Like who, what, where, no, but who, where.
Oh God, something about emoji. Oh no, it's not Addison Lee, but it's something else. It's very funny. So I went on a trail of open mic nights. I gathered all the different players, some keys players, Cat, and Mex on the drums. There's loads of players, loads of people that I'll big up, and Mex has actually got a studio now, so I am going to plug his studio because he built it from scratch in his garage. And if you see this thing, it's amazing. So any musicians out there who want to work with an amazing producer, drummer, and in a self-made studio, which is plush, check out the link. Anyway, aside from that, the story of the music is another thing altogether. But we ended up gigging lots. I've made lots and lots of music. And I've been signed by a manager before, and now I'm with a really close friend of mine, Jody Medland, Penworks Media, amazing, who's my manager, who's so proactive. If you knew his story, you'd understand why when he called me and said, can I be your manager? I just went, please, please make it happen, please. So finally in a space where I am going to actually put some music out, and recently filmed 2 music videos in like 3 days, which is amazing. So a lot of things are happening on the positive side that I want to put that, but there's always another side, is a yin and yang. And the other side is that to be in this position, I've had to, I haven't even talked about the other jobs I was doing, which is promotions and stuff like that. But I was doing promotions as well once I quit recruitment, and
it's a big thing.
It is a big thing.
That's where your money was making.
That's where I was making my money, and I quit that as well. And I quit that as well. So this hasn't been a succinct, but you know.
But why did you quit it?
I quit it because even though it was the industry that allowed for space, it's very arty. Make your own hours, and you're working with different brands and you're working with different artists as well, because generally people who want to have space, and dancers and actors, and they do this similar things. You can get caught in it because you get caught in the fact that you're making money, and you want security and you want to push forward with that security, and you always have this thing of when I get here, then I'll do the things that I want to do. And that's a dangerous place. Some people can successfully do that. But the fact is, for me personally, psychologically, I'd work really hard. And then you realize that even in this space now where I'm not doing that stuff, you have to work really hard to do the things you want to do. So where's the energy? Because you work really hard, you've made the money, and then you just want to chill. You just want to give yourself some time. You just want to buy something or do something, or
you have other people that rely on you as well. You've got family, you've got girlfriends, you've got friends that I love the way you just like girlfriends. I don't do girlfriends like that. Just like you just. No, I'm just mentioning people. I mean, he does. I'm really now stirring the pot.
Yes, you are trying to get me up in trouble in this place. But no, I quit that to create the space, to fully go in. And I said to myself, people want to clock and give themselves timelines and limits to how you want to live, because this whole world is saying, do this and do this because it's comfortable and it's safe. I have the most supportive mother on one side, which is a mother that wants me to be successful and safe and whatnot. But on the other side, you know, it means that
But it has to be done in her way.
It has to be done in a way. Has to be done in a way that she acknowledges is definite. Do you know what I mean? So if you work in a bank,
it's real security.
You're gonna be all right.
Real security.
Do you know what I mean? There's benefits there, and that's the whole thing. There is that paradigm, and as I study loads of entrepreneurs from Arnold Schwarzenegger to Elon Musk to all these people, you understand that, you know, on this side is a lonely space. There is a lonely space on the other side where you, on your own, in your mind at least at the beginning,
they're supportive as long as you're making money.
Yeah,
and that's
you know,
what it is.
And that's the thing. So, you know, this is it's interesting because you call it competitive, but it isn't really competitive. With everything, it's, you know, we can say, okay, no one's going to listen to this podcast, and we're just doing it for ourselves, and we're, you know, whatever it is, because it's a competitive field. Who's going to listen to you? And it's just like, okay, well, you can look at it in that way and be like, oh, well, there's so many people, how are you going to? Or you can just go, well, I'm just doing it.
90% of the people in this world do not follow their dream. And it's because when things get comfortable, to do what you really want to do can become hard. It's difficult because the world is not set up to suit those needs.
Nope.
And so when you then have these dreams, but you're in a comfortable space, it's very hard to move out of that comfortable space to do something that you really, really want. Most of the world is unhappy. I mean, we see it, we hear it all the time on the news that, you know, I mean, even people who are successful are unhappy. They can't get over it. I mean, you look at just poor Chester from Linkin Park. I mean, he just couldn't hack it. That one of his best friend committed suicide a month early, and he then committed suicide on his friend's birthday. And, you know, it's, you know, unhappiness is a big thing, and it's a real mental structure that causes it. I mean, obviously you do have, you know, unfortunately chemical imbalances in your head that you know, that big. But your average person just struggles with life. And to then even take yourself, you're struggling in life, then to take yourself out of your comfortable zone to do what you really want to do is difficult. And that's where I guess both me and you are at right now. We've taken ourselves.
That's it.
We're damn broke.
I mean, it's
0%,
100% broke.
I live.
It's
on
a zero.
I live on his futon. That's the truth. I live on his futon in his apartment. His living room is my bedroom, and I live out of a suitcase, and have done so for 2 months, or even 3 months now. But
and it's a thing though. It's a thing. It's just like, but this is the choice. It's a choice because, you know, with everything, you could be back in Portugal, 2 minutes from the beach.
Yeah.
You know, working what it, you know, because you what hasn't been told in this story is you worked hard enough to be able to buy your own place. That was what happened in Portugal, and now
I was comfortable. Don't get me wrong. I was really comfortable. And for some people, it could really be the dream lifestyle. Yeah. And for a lot of people, it is the dream lifestyle. Yeah. I got to a point though where I stopped pushing myself. Yeah. And I got comfortable, and I didn't enjoy it. I didn't. The fact that I procrastinating made me struggle with anxiety. And and also being unhealthy. I was too comfortable in that position, and it was not a place that I want. And I wasn't financially very, very sound, you know. And I could have, you know, I just couldn't. Basically I wanted something different, and what I want to do is exactly the same what I was doing, but I want to be able to create a bit more financial and freedom of time. At the same time. So freedom of money and freedom of time, so that I can live in a country like that. Like Portugal is a beautiful country, and I recommend everyone to go and visit. It's absolutely stunning. And it is beautiful, but, you know, you can't enjoy it when you're grafting all the time. And that's what I've come here to do, is try and set up a life where maybe possibly I'm doing something else I really, and it's for me, it gives me freedom, real freedom.
It's a thing that you know, we're going round into where I feel like we want to tackle anyway, and just, I suppose, leave this kind of introduction spot into, you know, talking about like different designs and different theories of where what we want to learn and what we want to share. And I think what it is the baseline is this. The podcast is called The Journey. This is the journey. This is the very, very start. You know, we, to all intents and purposes, you know, for so many people, they were like, you don't really have a right to, you know, start podcasts and talk to people or anything like that. So some people have that perception. You haven't achieved anything yet. Wait till you achieve something and then you can start speaking to people. We've decided to go, listen, as we achieve, we're going to be sharing, because, you know, I have read countless books on different, from self-help to autobiographies, and autobiographies need to be shared more. They really do need to be shared more, because you get the insight, you get the journey, you get the struggles, you get the humanity in the people who
things that people had to really, really go through,
the things that
hardships
they had to do, the real hardships,
to take what they really wanted.
And you know, that's that. You know, Simon Sinek says all this stuff about, you know, millennials and how there is a lack of patience, and then Gary Vaynerchuk says stuff like that. I'm dropping names here, don't worry about it. Just telling you, we do listen to our stuff. But you know, they talk about millennials, and they talk about, you know, the lack of the lack of patience and the instant gratification that people are looking for. And what we're seeing with multimedia, for me, what we're seeing with the media and press and everyone, is you're seeing the stars, you're not seeing the journey. You're seeing, you know, even people saying, oh, you know, but you're seeing behind the scenes now on social media. You're seeing edited social media. Social media is marketing at the end of the day. It's used as marketing. We'll be using it as marketing. Everyone will be using it as marketing. But I think this is
Facebook was designed for.
You know, this is what we're looking to do here is, you know, honesty. As much honesty as we're willing to share. Obviously, we still want to have private lives. But this is the honesty. If you see us in the street, you know, if you're a beggar, don't ask for money, because we don't have it.
Yeah, I try and give, but like, sometimes when I give my last pound, it just it hurts.
I won't do it. I'm sorry. I mean, like, look, charity's in me. If you want to know, my goal is this. I love music. Music is always going to be with me. I will always sing. I will always write. I will always make music. And this is the challenge that I'm putting out there for myself, is that I will be... I mean, I've already got a plan. I managed to start releasing stuff, but there will be stuff released. But overall, I just want a lovely, healthy family. That is that. If you
we want actually two totally different lives.
Yeah. This is what I'm saying. My goal. He wants it. Yeah, this is interesting. So, like, I want a lovely, healthy, wholesome family. It's not that I didn't have that as growing up. I had iPad 1. I want to create iPad 2. And then hopefully my kids will create iPad 3, and you know, it's just leveling up every single time with each generation. And I want to give back. I want to give back in a way that is honest and healthy and is sustainable. So I have many, many ideas about how I want to do this. My initial idea is definitely I want to help kids in Africa, and I want to increase comprehension. Just a lot of reading and understanding of knowledge. And I want to reteach the history of Africa, because it hasn't been represented right. And I'm pretty sure there's going to be a podcast on that at some point, with my learnings through various people, especially people like Akala. Big up Akala, what a genius and legend. But that's my dream. That's my dream, is to give back. I'm very creative. I'll give myself that. And I just want to use...
Yeah, and you want to try and help artists get out there, just struggling artists like yourself, and promoting it, and just different platforms of promotion.
And that will come into it. We just got so much to talk about. It's ridiculous. That's why we started this thing, because, you know, we talk a lot. We're 35 minutes into it, and I hope there's a general direction anyway. So your dreams, your goals.
Yeah, my goals. They sound simple, but I guess it's the dream for a lot of people. Is I want to be fit enough and have enough funds and time to be able to just see this world and connect with...
So I was just checking my story.
Yeah. Connect with as many people as possible and see all the wonders of the world, and be able to, you know, just live a real full life, and just keep traveling as far as possible and see different communities and the way they live and learn off them and help them and whatever. I don't really know. That's the whole thing. I don't know where I'm going to end up, but that's sort of where I'd like to be. That's where I'm most comfortable, and that's what I'd like to be able to do. How I'm going to do that, no clue, and that's what this is all about. Both me and Alex have implemented certain things in our lives to have momentum forward, positive momentum, and we'll talk about that in the next podcast about what we are currently doing and what we have done in the past to be able to get to this point of maybe realization, or even having, I mean, this is maybe for a lot of people, you know, that one of the hardest steps is just taking that step into the unknown and going, yeah, I'm just going to just do this, quit everything and put myself into that uncomfortable situation where I don't know where my future is going to be. We've done it. That's the first step. That is literally the first step, and that's where we're at.
And how do you feel? How do you feel off that?
I at the moment, for all the reasons I will mention in the next one, I'm feeling really, really good about myself at the moment. I'm in a real happy and strong, coming from a strong place, and I see a real bright future. I really, really do, which I might not have seen before, but I really, really do see it now. I see a very bright future ahead of me, and you know, we'll talk about the reasons why I do now. It's because I've implemented certain things in my life to follow these dreams and put myself into being able to be creative. That's one thing. Like you said before, that, you know, your normal 9-to-5 job can take creativity out of you because you just don't have the drive, the passion, the energy all the time left to be able to be creative. And with creative, I don't just mean artistic. I'm talking about, you know, even planning your future, planning whatever. It's coming from a creative space. It's thinking of something that doesn't exist. So therefore it's creative. So yeah, that's that. That's where I'm at. And I think, I mean, I don't know if you've got any much more to say.
Yeah, I think the thing that's left really is to kind of push I'm excited. I'm like really excited. I know Neil's been really excited about the podcast.
I like chatting. I really do. I love talking, and I do it. And the problem is I talk so much that I bore people. So now I've decided I'm going to bore the world instead.
Let's do it. I'm just excited because what this does, you know, you can talk about, and it's going to be so interesting to see other people's perspectives on how they create accountability and things like that. But this is. You can't
difficult stuff already.
No.
You're mentioning dropping stuff.
I'm dropping stuff. We got a pepper. But this is us challenging ourselves in front of the world.
Basically, that's it. That's and making ourselves accountable to the world.
You can't.
I don't know how I feel about that yet, but we'll see.
You know, people are like, oh, I heard your podcast. You know, the odd one person.
Yeah.
will be like, heard your podcast. Have you done that? I'm like, oh God, let's go do it.
I think that because we haven't got plans of setting challenges and trying different things and reporting on like how we've done like different things that we've implemented and how they work, and like reading about something and going, let's give this a go.
You know, there's general titles of the, you know, the love, happiness, finances, or wealth, in whichever way you want to describe it. There's categories, and we want to attack those categories because there are things like, listen, we are two guys here sitting down on the podcast talking about how broke we are, and it's just like, well, okay, there's one way you can fix that brokenness is to be better with money.
Yeah,
you know,
both me and Alex are horrendous with money. So I mean, really bad.
So
really
you know,
bad.
You say really bad. But,
it is
bad.
Man,
I mean,
dude.
Yeah, we're pretty bad.
Dude, sometimes we in the past we've gone out with only £300 left, and then spent £300 and lived off nothing for a week.
I mean, that was student time though, and we kind of perpetuated. We're a little bit better, but
yeah.
But yeah. So yeah, I mean, this is straightforward accountability, right? So you know, learning different ways that to some people is so like, you know, I know people who got spreadsheets for the week. Yeah. I know people who got spreadsheets like, yeah, this is that, and this is that much. I know people who understand the different ISAs and the different all of these things. It's just like, okay, cool. So if you didn't know about it, we don't know about it, we're going to learn it, or we're going to bring someone on here who does know about it, who can talk about it, and we're going to implement it. And if you're not in that part of the journey, you can learn it with us. And if you already have it, you can just laugh at us.
Yeah.
As we get it wrong.
Basically, we're two people who shouldn't be probably where we are right now at the age we are, but we are. And I think a lot of people are.
Yeah.
And it's because we haven't got the right tools to be able to implement the things that we want to implement. So we're going to learn it. And we're going to bring people on to teach us or be able to give us some knowledge on about it. And at the same time, we're learning it, you're learning it, and it gives us the accountability of it all. So
yeah, and then it's not just going to be about the improvement and stuff like that. And there's lots of mindset stuff and just lots of interesting conversation with different people in different ways. Because in the end, you know, many tools make light work. You know, there's so many ways to do things, and the more options you have, the more avenues you have, the more opportunities you see in any given situation. So that's the one thing that's definitely...
It's also connecting with people. Like it's a chance of maybe meeting other people who maybe see us and are sort of interested in what we say or agree with what we say or see something that we, you know, want to connect in some sort of way. Contact us, please. Like, we're here to hear everyone's story. You know,
we're going to be so tight on time, like just trying to, I think we're on 45 minutes now. And if anyone stayed this long, it's amazing. So,
yeah.
Oh, you guys.
Yeah. I just think, hi mum. Because you're probably the only one watching.
Oh God, what kind of nonsense I had you instead of studying. Yeah, so let's keep it as that. Like, we're keeping the forum open. Please hit us with questions. If it's about ourselves, if about what you'd like to hear. We have actually an amazing array of friends doing really amazing things.
Amazing things.
Which for us is like the most inspirational thing, because we grew up with these people, or we've spent a considerable amount of time with these people, so we understand where they've come from to where they are now is a journey, and they've worked really hard, and they're still on the grind, and they're still making it happen, and they've got all their pitfalls, and it's going to be so nice to dissect their thoughts and their processes. You know, we've got people who've, you know, worked from nothing to go to the Olympics, got some people who are working for Google, people who are creating their own other podcasts. You've got
guys just starting their own businesses, and writers, just actresses, musicians. You know, the whole shebang. So there's a whole field of things. People just, you know, also in business and everything. Like, because in the end, your goals, everyone's goals are different and what they want to achieve in life, and that's a fact. You know, and that's the hardest part, is that everyone's always told that there's only this one journey for success. I mean, success is measured in so many different ways. And we're there to maybe try and show that you're not, if you've come up with the same ideas and want to do the same thing, it is possible. And we're going to hope that we're going to be able to show you it's possible, because we know it's possible. We don't know how it's possible. We're nowhere near it, not even 1% to that yet. But we're hoping one day we will be, and this is our journey.
It's our journey. Thank you for listening. If you've liked what you've heard, please share it with your friends and family.
And please subscribe to our YouTube channel and follow us on Instagram, Facebook, and SoundCloud.
Thanks a lot.
Cheers.